In today's video, we're going to be diving into the first battles of the new season after all the updates that we saw to Go Battle League. And I'm very excited to try out some of these Pokemon, as Pokemon like Sliggoo, the Shadow Kanto Ninetales, and the Mantine all got move updates, which is going to be very interesting. Now, obviously, at the beginning of a season, we kind of see everything and everything. You guys know how the rank 1, rank 2, etc. battles kind of go. But what we're going to see in today's video is as the battles progress, it gets more meta and more meta as we go along, right? So the battles get way more difficult towards the end. So if you're curious how these Pokemon perform or how the team performs, be sure to stick around to the end because the first couple battles we're going to kind of be swinging through. But what I will say is all these Pokemon combined, maybe you can already see it already, they have a weakness. A long-lasting staple of the meta that it's weak to. Now, obviously, I didn't build this team to be like, oh, this is the best team or some super dominant, combo in this meta. I literally just wanted to try 3 of the Pokemon that I was so interested in, and they kind of work out together with some of those synergies, right? So that's how this game goes. It's about fun, kind of see what they work with, but if you guys are curious about like meta battles, stick to like the second half of this video and you'll see some really good battles. All right. Let's get into it. We have Sliggoo on the lead versus Snorlax. Let's see if it has the combat power, and it does. It's going to be 1490. Now, Sliggoo got access to 2 very interesting moves that instantly put it from like this Pokemon literally was rank 900 in the 900s, and now it's like rank 32 in the Great League. And that's because it got access to Dragon Breath and Body Slam with this recent update. Now, I decided to swap into Mantine because the Snorlax was building up so much energy. I'm like, it's got to be an Outrage, and it was. So we caught the Outrage. That's huge for first game. But of course, Raichu is clearly going to be a swap-in that we face off against. But that's okay. Raichu can take a decent amount of damage here from Twister as we do get a shield. Now, they didn't necessarily have to shield right there, but it's the first game of the season. You know how things go. But what's cool is Mantine got access to Twister, and I think that's pretty interesting for a lot of different matchups where before it was kind of locked into, you had your water, the Aerial Ace, you had your Ice Beam, you had your Bubble Beam, and now with the Sliggoo Body Slam, we're going to be able to get some more pressure off here. But I think out of this whole video, if you guys are looking at what Pokemon to invest, if we're looking at all 3 right here, I was really impressed with the Shadow Kanto Ninetales as we go ahead and stop that Brick Break, and we're going to go ahead and look to aggressively farm down. So we have a good amount of energy. We have the Shadow Kanto Ninetales in the back, and we're going to go ahead and swap in the Ninetales, obviously into a 763 combat power Eevee. Yeah, this is kind of how the first battles go sometimes, but Shadow Kanto Ninetales got access to Energy Ball. And mind you, it's all triple legacy. You guys can see over there. Be sure to double check that because I don't want you guys wasting TMs trying to get Ember or trying to get Energy Ball. It's all triple legacy, so you guys are going to have to use those elite TMs in order to get it. But Shadow Kanto Ninetales is an absolute monster. I am very impressed with it. It recently won a tournament with Arrow in Play Pokemon, who has been the Shadow, like Alolan Marowak to me, I feel like is Shadow Kanto Ninetales to him. He's an incredible battler, and he always finds a way to make it work. And now that it has Energy Ball, that's pretty nasty. You guys are going to see it come into play in these later battles. So good game to my opponent right there. But we have now Jellicent on the lead. Okay, so now we get to kind of see how this works out. But my opponent is actually running with Bubble instead of Hex. So this swings heavily into my favor on the Sliggoo as we're going to be resisting the fast move there. Now, Shadow Ball is still going to do a decent amount of damage, but it's all about, okay, Sliggoo, how much damage can we take? Shadow Ball, it does a respectable amount, but it's not threatening whatsoever, right? Especially with that bubble damage. We are only threatened by the charge move, so we're going to be looking to go for that Dragon Pulse. And now I'm like, can I actually Dragon Breath down? Oh, so close right there. So I will give up a shield. Actually, I probably could have no-shielded this and survived the Surf. I bet you I could have. Okay. So that's just my guess. We would have survived the Surf with like 1 HP and a Dream. We do have a Marowak come in, so we're going to go For the Dragon Pulse, again, obviously Body Slam is going to be resisted, so we want to apply that pressure. We do get a shield, and then we swap out into the Mantine right away, and we do get a Venusaur swap in. So obviously in a Venusaur swap in, if we still had the Ice Beam or that Aerial Ace, we'd be sitting in a much better position, but Twister still applies that pressure, right? And with the Wing Attack fast move, you're still doing that super effective damage. Now, the shiny Venusaur over here, Frenzy Plant just does a lot. You have to respect it. And we'll have to see if the Twister is actually going to be enough. I'm really starting to try to overload a bit on energy. I could have gotten away with a little bit more, but Twister actually isn't going to do as much as I was hoping. As you guys saw right there, they were able to get to the charge move. I basically timed it perfectly, but unfortunately I wasn't able to one-shot it. So Twister right there was enough, and we do get to the Body Slam. I'm trying to get to the Dragon Pulse, and I get to it in time. This Sliggoo, I'm really actually liking it. Like, in terms of looking at a pure Dragon Breath and Body Slam user, much like the Dragonair of old, the Sliggoo's kind of cool. So now we bring in the Ninetales. We obviously have to watch out for the Bone Club, but they're going to need multiple for that, and they just aren't getting that in time. Ember gains energy very quickly, and that Weather Ball is going to be more than enough damage to knock it out. So that is going to be a good game. Very well played to my opponent. All right. Moving into the next one, we have Sliggoo on the lead versus Altaria. Okay, this is going to be very interesting to see how this matchup plays out. I haven't done any sims. I love, at the beginning, they decided to swap out into Dunsparce, which is perfect. Dunsparce does very well into my team, right? You got the Rollout and the Rock Slide for the Mantine. You got Rollout and Drill Run, or actually just double Rock Slide. Rollout and Rock Slide just covers my backline, right? So I have to stay in with the Sliggoo here. And what's also interesting, if we're able to maintain switch advantage, I can align the Twister Mantine into that Altaria, which is going to be so key to find out how this plays out. Now, obviously, you can find out how it plays out by doing simulations on PvPoke. You can do your tests and whatnot. But I love trial by fire, especially at the beginning of a new season. So we're going to be going for Dragon Pulse here, trying to see what Sliggoo can do. Is this going to be enough neutral damage to eliminate the Dunsparce? And no, it is not. It is so close. Everything Sliggoo's doing right here is just like 1 HP away. It is so close. We are able to survive, though, and maintain switch advantage, which is huge. So defensively, we take it right there. The Altaria does come in, and now we get to put Mantine to work to see what this Twister is going to do. Obviously, Mantine, very bulky in terms of its defensive stats, so it's going to be able to tank a Sky Attack really easily, along with the Dragon Breath, and we do get a shield there on the Twister, so they were anticipating it. Even, right, an Ice Beam, you definitely have to fear, right? It's double super, or, you know, quad weak. So Sky Attack now, going to be, as you guys see, Mantine, very, very bulky, and I'm wondering if Mantine is going to be more prevalent in the coming weeks, as it got a big bump up in terms of its coverage, but ultimately it's still so weak to electric, and with the Shadow Fortress having access to Volt Switch, that's going to be kind of tough to wiggle your way around. So we let the Mantine go down. We're letting Ninetales completely take this game because the Altaria is within Weather Ball range. So I go for Weather Ball after overloading, right? Mind you, overloading, they swap into Feraligatr, which is a great swap on them to catch it, but ultimately I'm going to be able to get to this Energy Ball in time, and they're not able to get to the Hydro Cannon. So this is going to be a good game. Shadow Kanto Ninetales with Energy Ball. Boom! One-shots the Feraligatr, and now the Altaria is going to go down to Weather Ball, and they do decide to surrender. So good game to my opponent. All right, moving to the next one. We have Sliggoo on the lead versus Dewgong. Okay, so we got to swap into the Mantine right here, as we will look to get ahead on energy. But Dewgong, again, Icy Wind does well into this team. Drill Run does well into this team. So this is a Pokemon where we're not going to be able to hard counter right away with anything on our side. We're going to have to utilize teamwork to make the dream work, right? So we're going to go ahead and let the charge move go through, but they went for Drill Run, and I'm very confused, because maybe they just don't have Icy Wind, but Drill Run was clearly, like, not the... They might have misclicked. They could have misclicked as well. It happens sometimes. I'm not going to knock them on that. Clearly, Dewgong with Icy Wind in that situation is the right move to do, but maybe they just messed up, and that's okay. Now, Azumarill comes in, and this Azumarill is a Pokemon that this team can take down, but it's very tough to, right? Because it's got the resistances to dragon, it's got the resistances to water, it's got the resistances to fire. We're really only taking it down really with wing attack and like energy ball, right? And maybe some body slam. So I'm going to decide to come in with the Sliggoo right here. I think I can get to a body slam in time, and Sliggoo is pretty bulky, so it should be able to tank an Ice Beam or a Play Rough relatively easily. It obviously can't really tank 2, but we do get a shield there with body slam, which is really opening the door for Shadow Kanto Ninetales. If you have a 2-to-1 shield advantage with Ninetales and you can come in with an aggressive farm down, so they do decide to go for the Play Rough. I'm going to try to go for another body slam here. There's no reason why I shouldn't try to get this out of the way, because that Dugong, right, with the Ice Shard fast move, is not going to be doing that much damage to Ninetales. So yeah, we decide to come in right here. We're loading up on energy. We go for the energy ball, the energy ball right away. And this, oh man, you get to it so quick. You get to it so quick, and we do get a shield, and they decide to go for the charge move. So obviously I'm like, okay, it's going to be the drill run, but no, it is going to be the Icy Wind this time. So a good debuff right there by them, but they do bring in a Typhlosion. So now I'm just going to look to overload on energy and go for Weather Ball here. Now the Icy Wind debuff was pretty critical because I'm not going to be doing as much damage, as you guys can see. And now this is going to be very interesting to see if we can pull this one off. So I'm going to go ahead and shield. It is going to be Thunder Punch. My Sliggoo is alive, so I'm going to decide to swap out into it right here and try to get to this Body Slam in time. But I forced them to throw energy, which is really good. I almost got to that Body Slam there. Had I swapped sooner, I think I could have gotten to it. But I go for Weather Ball right away. Yes, they do get an Incinerate through, but the Weather Ball just knocks out the Typhlosion, and then we can go for Energy Ball here into Dugong. And this is what I was saying at the beginning, why I think Shadow Kanto Ninetales out of all of these is looking so good. It's just so much damage, and its coverage is so good. So, good game to my opponent right there. All right, we got Sliggoo on the lead versus Togekiss. Okay, so I'm guessing this is Peck, but I'm just going to decide to swap out into Mantine right away anyways, because the Sliggoo might have a better matchup in the back, but they decide to stay in. So this is kind of interesting to see why they're doing this. They decide to go for the Psyshock there, getting me to about 50%, but they bring in the Fortress, and this is the Volt Switch Fortress that I was talking about earlier. Unfortunately, my timing right there wasn't as good as it could have been, but yeah. Yeah, I get the Twister off anyways, so we are able to get that. Maybe we pressure a shield here. Maybe they think it's another Water Pulse, and we do get it. So even though I messed up on my timings, I mean, we got 50% and shield advantage. So now I come in with Ninetales, and this is obviously a position where we have to be concerned about the Rock Tomb. So we're going to go ahead and shield, and they actually went for Sand Tomb here. So that is an interesting call. We're going to go for Weather Ball right away. I don't want them to get a Rock Tomb off, but they decide to shield regardless, which is fine. So now they're going to go for the Rock Tomb. So maybe I could have counter swapped into my Sliggoo right there, looking back at this the second I saw them shield. But now we see an Altaria come in, but they swapped into Altaria, which means we can do something very, very cool right here. Watch how this plays out. So I know the Altaria cannot take me down with Sky Attack and Dragon Breath right away. So what I do instead is overload on energy right until the end, literally one Dragon Breath away. And then I throw the Dragon Pulse, knowing that this is going to, boom, one-shot the Altaria. But now they get no energy from my Sliggoo. They get one fast move instead of much more from before, right? So now I come in with the Ninetales, I farm down, and then they do have the Togekiss in the back. So we're going to go for Weather Ball right here. And we'll have to see if this is going to be enough damage to take it out. But unfortunately, it is not. So we get one more Ember through. Now, if this is Aura Sphere, oh yeah, we hang on. We hang on right there, and we get the Weather Ball off. So that is going to be a good game to my opponent. Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, good game. Either way, it turned out all right. Different ways I could have played that, but yeah, overall, good battle. All right. Moving into the next one, we have Sliggoo on the lead versus Shadow Kingdra. This is another Pokemon that got an update. And as you guys can see, it's a Dragon Breath fight. And it looks like we're about tied. Just about tied, right? So now they have access to Swift, so that's going to be doing quite a bit of damage. I go for Body Slam. and then we'll have to see how much damage this is going to do to them. But they are going to decide to give up the Protect Shield. So now they're going to be able to farm us down, unfortunately. But I can come in. I almost got the Body Slam right there. I can come in with Mantine right now and look to aggressively farm down. Now, Swift is going to do quite a lot, so I think I'll give up one Protect Shield on this, because I'm going to get hit with the second one most likely right here. Yeah, I'm going to get hit with the second one. So as you guys can see, the damage, this is going to take me below 50% right here. So taking 2 of those, yeah, I could have tanked it, but I would have been extremely low. But now we have a Azumarill coming in, and this is where things are a bit dicey, because I no longer have a 2-to-1 shielded advantage. I have, yeah, it's a 1-to-1. So we're going to have to play this very carefully. I'm going for Water Pulses here because it's same type attack bonus, right? So it's going to do a bit more, but we get a shield from them. And yeah, we'll take shields all day. Shadow Kanto Ninetales, I guess, is very happy to see that. They go for Ice Beam. I swap out right away into the Ninetales because now they're behind. We can go for Energy Ball here. And this is going to do quite a bit of damage, but I don't think it's going to be enough to one-shot from this range. But it still does a good chunk. And they decide to swap out into Fearow. So now we're just going to keep overloading on energy and go for Weather Ball here. And this is where the Shadow Kanto Ninetales really starts to shine, is when you have those shields advantage. And that's where I kind of learned with this team, is if I can give shields to the Ninetales in the end, in most situations, you can really just come out on top. So we take down the Fearow before they get to a drill run, and the Azumarill obviously is now going to go down. So good game to my opponent. All right, moving to the next one, we have Sliggoo on the lead versus Shadow Alolan Ninetales. So we got to swap out right away. That is going to be the Charm, and they are charming away. Even though, excuse me, sorry. Even though Charm got a nerf, right, in terms of its damage, its coverage is still there, and people are starting to try out these dragons like Sliggoo, so it makes a lot of sense. And they have an Azumarill, so they've already got 2 Pokemon that pretty hard check me with this team. So yeah, and they're playing it very well. So this is going to be tough to come back from, because the Azumarill right here can fully farm down, right? They don't need to throw a charge move. They don't need to worry about damage. I mean, I am chipping away here, right? But yeah, it's just not going to be, it's not going to be enough. Now, the Sliggoo coming back in is going to have to tank a few charge moves, and my hope is that the Ninetales, because Azumarill is on the field, that maybe the Ninetales can close this game out. So we're going to come in with the Sliggoo right here after we wait a little bit, and they're just going to throw the Ice Beam right away. So my thought right here is, if this is in fact Ice Beam, which it is, I can swap right away into the Ninetales to catch after the next bubble, which is going to be the next Ice Beam. And this is going to do like no damage. It's negligible here to the Ninetales. So now I get to like aggressively go for the farm down, but they are going to make it. Look at that. Oh, had I gotten that farm down without needing to give up a Protect Shield, but still Bubble did so much damage to me that unfortunately I have to shield right there. And now we see that I actually have Medicham in the back. So I'm down shields. I have quite a bit of energy, but there's really no coming back, because I have misalignment right now, and this is counter Medicham as well. It's really starting to add up as the Weather Balls now are getting shields. I come into Sliggoo right away to try to get the Body Slam before they swap into Ninetales, hoping maybe I can get a shield right here, and then maybe I can make some magic happen. But ultimately, my Shadow Kanto Ninetales is so low on health that even though I have Ember for that matchup, the Charm is just going to be doing too much damage as they go for Ice Punch. They swap out, and yeah, as you guys can see, Charm is just doing too much. And that is going to be a good game to my opponent. So yeah, the Ninetales and the Azumarill is so tough for me to try to break through with this team. All right, moving to the next battle. We have Drapion on the lead. So relatively just neutral matchup right here. So we're just going to go for Body Slam. I could go straight for Dragon Pulse, to be honest, but I want to see how the Body Slam can do in this matchup. So the Crunch does land, and then we're just going to go for Body Slam now. If we get shields, that's great, right? But Body Slam at least is going to do a decent amount of chip damage. So it actually doesn't do that much. And I was kind of underwhelmed right there. I was hoping it was going to do a little bit more, but only doing maybe like 15%. or whatever it's doing right there is not great. I was hoping for like 30, right? But, you know, we decided to shield, and this was actually a crucial mistake. When you're operating with a Shadow Kanto Ninetales, it is your sweeper, and you need shield advantage, right? You need energy, you need shield advantage to really close up games, and now they have a Marowak that gets to come in and load up on energy, and Marowak right here is... yeah, it shreds my backline, and they're not shielding. They're just fully farming down, and I'm just like, oh goodness. I have so many rock slides coming my way. It's unreal. So we're going to go ahead and no shield right here. Mantine isn't the Pokemon to win this game for me. It's the Ninetales, and they swap out into Credilli, and this just stinks. This would be fine if I had lots of energy on my Ninetales, right? Like if I had let the Drapion take me out and I came in with Ninetales and loaded up with energy, it could go a lot of places, and then I swap Mantine, and then we have a different game. When I'm down shields right here, it is so tough to come back from, because you need those shields to protect yourself from the rock slides, from the rock tombs, from the bone clubs, and the, you know, whatever else is coming your way. As you guys can see, it's just, and they counter swap. They do a great counter swap right there to take me out. But yeah, giving up shields early on the Sliggoo is not the optimal kind of way for this team. You need so much energy. So you like kind of want to just soft lose lead. If you can get shield advantage, great in the process. But overall, good games. We had some fun battles there. But I think the takeaway from this first set of battles is that Sliggoo is viable, right? It's nothing too crazy in terms of the output, in terms of damage. It's kind of more balanced. The Shadow Kanto Ninetales, I'm really excited to build more teams around that. It has a lot of potential. And the Mantine just feels like, it feels okay. I think there was opportunities where Ice Beam would have been so much more crucial for those matchups into Altaria, into the Venusaur, right, instead of the Twister. But Twister does have the coverage that you may need, and then it has Water Pulse as well. So overall, it was fun. Let me know how your guys' first day went, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. So like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.